What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are preparing physically, mentally, and spiritually for the dark times that are ahead of us. And hope you guys are getting rough with God and staying strong. I've got some more important information to share with you guys today. And they've been ramping up these agendas like crazy as we get closer to the dark winter, which begins in basically 5 days, right? And that's not me saying, oh, it's going to start going down in 5 days. No, that's me saying that the winter season is officially going to start. And which I believe this coming winter is going to be the real dark winter that they warned about, and is going to have, in my opinion, the same scenario that they've been wargaming since 2001, right? With Operation Dark Winter, right? We talked about all of that. I don't even have to talk about it all over again, but that's just what I believe. I think this coming winter is going to be the real dark winter that they warned about, but continue preparing yourself as much as possible. But I told you guys this whole cyber agenda for a good while now, that the cyber agenda is going to keep ramping up, and it is ramping up as time goes on. And this right here, this is something that recently took place, basically like about a week ago. But of course, like we've already discussed, every time they war game something or do some type of exercise, simulation type of thing for something, right, it always becomes a problem, a real problem in the future, and at some point it becomes a complete reality. And it says exclusive IMF, 10 countries simulate cyber attack on global financial system. I believe it was Israel. Yes, it was Israel. Israel on Thursday led a 10-country simulation of a major cyber attack on the global financial system. You guys remember what I recently posted about what the World Economic Forum had made a video about relating to that, right, on Twitter, where they talked about, oh, what if severe weather froze your bank account, right, which is absolutely ridiculous and makes no sense whatsoever. And these are the types of cover stories that they're going to be using to hide to hide the truth about the what's really behind it and what really caused all of it, right, and who's behind it. A 10-country simulation of a major cyber attack on the global financial system in an attempt to increase cooperation that could help to minimize any potential damage to financial markets and banks. Let me show you another thing too that took place right after they did that exercise recently, right? I believe it was a paycheck. Hold on, paycheck service company or something like that. Hold on. But yeah, days after that, right? Give me a second. I'm just trying to find. Yeah, it was this one. Yes, it was this one right here. Kronos, major HR and payroll service provider. And I know Marfugal News and YouTubers like that have made videos about it. But I'm not able to keep updated with these things all the time because I've been really, really busy recently. But it says Kronos, major HR and payroll service provider, hit with ransomware, warns of a long outage. So days after Israel did this right here, this happens, right? And to this day, it still blows my mind that people still don't realize that this is all planned in advance, simply because they don't pay attention, simply because they don't do no research, right? And it goes on to say, and right after this, I'm going to get into the whole subliminal messaging of the devastating event that's still coming relating to La Palma, right? And it says Kronos, a cloud-based HR management company, announced it was hit by a ransomware attack. Restoring operations could take weeks, the company claims. The attack prevents Ultimate Kronos Group clients from accessing, however you want to say it, staff management and payroll processing services. The company claims that initial investigations shows the attack affects Kronos Private Cloud, the portion of UKG Business where UKG Workforce Central, UKG Telestaff, healthcare extensions, and banking scheduling solutions are deployed. So, yeah, I mean, you guys get the point, right? Another huge cyber attack type of event takes place, not as big as the Colonial Pipeline situation, obviously, that took place almost a year ago, but it was way earlier throughout this year. I believe it was in May of this year when it took place. I could be wrong, but, that's besides the point. The exact time that it took place, that's besides the point. We know what happened. We know what took place right after they pulled that one off, and that was just a warm-up run. Just imagine what it's going to be like when they pull off, the real deal. So yeah, this happens right after, days after they do this simulation. Perfect example right here when I tell you guys, every time they do some simulation or exercise, these things come to fruition. But yeah, so I'm going to get into what I wanted to talk about with the predictive or the subliminal messaging. I'm not going to go over what I went over already, right, with the predictive programming video, like the Secret Files 2 video game, where they showed you and blatantly told you, right, about what's going to happen with this event. But I want to show you guys some magazines too, before I end the video off, that subliminally are showing us that, things are about to get much worse and that these devastating events are indeed going to happen. The next one is going to be much more blatant. But this one right here, I believe, came out recently, and it shows pretty much world leaders, right, on a magazine, sitting in a chair, and it says "Last Call," and it shows like an apocalyptic / stormy type of background, and of course, the whole thing with "Last Call," right, as it says right on this magazine, refers to the fact that it's your last chance to get ready for what they're about to pull off. And when they pull it off, folks, I'm not, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. When they pull it off, it's going to be really bad, and it's going to be devastating, because they've been having these plans for decades and decades. They know what they're going to carry out. They know that they're going to carry out a bigger crisis. They've been telling you about this. It's no secret, folks. They're telling you they're going to do it. They're showing you they're going to do it. And with these people, they think of it as, if you're too dumb to see it, if you're too dumb to see what they're showing you and to see the bigger picture behind what they're planning on carrying out, then you deserve it. That's how they think of it as, right? I believe it's called the revelation of the method. So, yeah, an apocalyptic background where it says "Last Call." And I still strongly believe that this coming winter is going to be the real dark winter that they've been talking about, right? If you pay attention to the recent things that have been happening with smallpox, and the warnings that have been coming out about it, the recent events that have been taking place with it, right? And the stories about monkeypox, right? What did they do back in 2001, folks? I'm not even going to say it because I've said it so many times in my previous videos. But they simulated an event with that whole thing as well. And the Division video game has predictive programming with a dark winter type of scenario as well. So again, it's no secret, folks. It's just a matter of, are you paying attention to what they're showing you or not? So if that's not blatant enough for you, I'm going to show you guys the next one. But just know, folks, that it's coming. And it shows Donald Trump underwater. And it says "in deep" because you're going to be deep in the water. Or at least those who are in the danger zone of this, right, are going to be deep, very deep in the water when this thing collapses into the ocean and causes that massive wave of water to hit the East Coast. I don't know when. It could be 2 years from now, 5 years from now. They might even postpone it, but I highly doubt it. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm not setting any dates. But these subliminal messages and the predictive programming is telling us, folks. The Simpsons is showing us that it's going to happen. Especially the game Secret Files 2 is showing us that it's going to happen. But I'm still hoping, of course, that I'm dead wrong about this, because I would absolutely hate to be right about something like this, right? I'm still hoping deep down that it's some type of psyop. I'm hoping that they're just trying to get people to be scared, right? But that's not what the predictive programming is showing us right now. Usually it's, you know, and you guys know, for those of you guys who pay attention to the to what they show you on The Simpsons, their predictive programming is pretty obvious, and or not obvious, but it always comes to fruition, right? They predicted this guy becoming president, and it happened. So again, I'm hoping that I'm dead wrong about this. I would hate to be right about it. I hope it's deep down. I'm really, really, really hoping that it's just a psyop and that it doesn't happen. But keep preparing yourself for the worst case scenario. Have your evacuation plans ready just in case it does happen for sure. Because you never know, folks, when these people can flip the switch. They can destroy this country whenever they want to, and they're going to do it eventually. Whether it's like this or whether it's some type of other way, it's going to happen eventually. And 2020 was just a warm-up run for them to see how easily they could take this entire scam, right? As far as they possibly can. They wanted to see how far they could take it. And it's still going on to this day. So keep preparing yourselves as much as you possibly can. And before I end the video off, I want to bring this to you guys' attention. And I'm sure you guys are aware of the recent devastating tornadoes that took place in this country as well. But yeah, so, you know, these are the types of things that are you're gonna keep seeing more and more of as time goes on, and especially this coming winter, right? More devastating things going to be taking place. They told you we're going to go into a dark winter, and I personally really believe that this coming winter is going to be the real dark winter that they've been warning about. So get yourselves ready for the dark winter that they've been warning you about. Last year's winter was crazy, right? It was crazy for places like Texas especially. You know, you guys remember what happened with Texas back in February. Crazy to say that that was almost a year ago. It's absolutely mind-blowing how fast the time just keeps flying by. But it was crazy what happened with them, right? The crazy power grid collapse that took place. And it only took like about a good week until, even less than that, really, like a few days until things really started getting ugly just off of that, right? So I can't even imagine what it would be like in a long-term, you know, grid down type of scenario.